There you are, my beautiful divers. You already know what time it is. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, these videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only, for context. Don't believe anything you hear or see. Do your own research on everything. With that being said, oxygen levels.
Systems are online. Oxygen levels reading 100%.
Set a course to Dark Waters 9.
In central Mexico near Mexico City lies Xico, a perfectly round volcanic crater once filled by ancient Lake Chalco. After the lake dried up through natural and human drainage, the fertile basin became rich farmland, transforming this extinct volcano into one of the region's most productive agricultural zones over centuries.
Or it could have been a fallen angel crash site. That will explain why everything inside has been excavated. Because look, it's been completely scraped clean. They made sure they got any tools or weapons that may have came with the fallen angel. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Beautiful aerial photography here from Patagonia, and the mainstream narrative for these mountains is tectonic plates pushing together and then Earth coming up. But you know, on this channel we don't believe the mainstream explanation for what we're seeing here. Petrification is a natural process where organic material like wood or bone turns to stone by being replaced with minerals, typically silica, from mineral rich water that seeps in after rapid burial, which cuts off oxygen and slows decay. Now, it's not just the Bible. All ancient civilizations talk about a time when the earth was flooded. The gates of the deep and the gates of heaven were opened, and all of the earth was reset because the corruption was out of control. The whole of the earth was covered in mineral rich water, all that sediment, burying anything that's alive and turning it to stone. So you decide for yourself what we're looking at, people. Geology or petrified biology?
What an interesting theory. All geology is petrified biology. I wonder what would that explain from all those specimens of the day.
Now, I've learned from the shaman of the Yupik tribe who died recently. He claims that the whales have the knowledge of the human race dating back 450,000 years. They can actually call the cetaceans in. They'll come right up to the shoreline, and they can communicate with them telepathically. He had read that at one time there was an Aboriginal tribe on the south coast of Australia whose shaman had this capability, but according to the anthropologist, none of the tribe were still alive today. But he went there anyway to check it out. Thankfully, he found 20 members of the tribe still alive. Whenever they held a ceremony, the shaman would call the whales in through the tunnel, and they would come right into the lagoon, and then a UFO would come down and land, and the occupants would communicate with the shaman and with the whales. Also had a legend that one day all the shamans capable of communicating with cetaceans would come to their sacred lagoon and all commune together. Not too long ago, as they had a seismic upheaval, and the subterranean tunnel collapsed, so the whales can't come in anymore into the lagoon. But the interesting thing is, all 20 members of the tribe have a birthmark on their chest, and it's in the shape of a humpback whale. When he was down there, they had another small earthquake, and they had this huge sacred rock right on the edge of the lagoon. And during the quake, the rock split right down the middle. All the tribal members were petrified. They thought this was a terrible omen for them. They went up to the rock to look, and I've seen a photograph of this. The whole interior of the rock is white, except right in the middle there is a silhouette of a humpback whale. That's perfectly true. Last year, all the shamans gathered there, and he's making a documentary movie of it now. Now, I've learned from the shaman of the...
Where's that movie at? Did they ever let that get released? How interesting is that? That's like the first Aquaman, you know, but it was actually a tribe that can communicate to the, you know. I wonder maybe if that's where the Atlanteans were based off of, maybe. You know, it makes you think. This isn't the first time I've heard people communicating with whales. I remember it was this when spearing whale, hunting whales was real bad, it was this activist that was out there stopping the whales, and the whale would literally come up next to his boat. He could stand on top of the whale while he's waving to the hunters to stop. How crazy was that? You know, it's a conscience field, I believe, that you can communicate and tap into with all animals. Like, an animal can sense how good your heart is. You got people that could hold a peanut right in their hand and a squirrel will come right out, or they can have a bag of seeds and just stand outside and the birds will come land on their hand and eat it. You know, it's they animals can feel that. If you got an experience like that, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear that. All right, we have Tesla robot eyes. Serving that stale popcorn with no butter. Look at it. Where's the butter? I bet if you asked him, put some more butter on it, he don't know what you gonna say. And why are the eyes red? You know, every movie, every video game, the eyes are red. That the bad guy, the evil AI is red. The Sentinels on Matrix, the Terminator, all the eyes were red. You couldn't make them green or blue to make them a little bit more friendly?
Anything made of words will be taken over by AI. If books are just combinations of words, then AI will take over books. If religion is built from words, then AI will take over religion. This is particularly true of religions based on books. What happens to a religion of the book when the greatest expert on the holy book is an AI?
And this is just another reminder, my friend, for every person to get their hands on a physical copy of the Bible, preferably not a modern day translation for a list of reasons. But you know, we live in a very digital world where most people's Bible reading and studying is done through an app. Well, what happens when these apps are removed? They become illegal. And let's not pretend like that's a far-fetched idea, even in the Western world. I think it's 52 countries right now where the Bible is completely restricted, and in 7 of them it's completely banned, and that number is growing. It's a very plausible thing, even in the Western world. In the near future, we're already seeing signs of this, of certain things becoming illegal. And, you know, they're already telling us, giving us hints of a future world that will be replaced by AI and whatever else, even from the podiums at the WEF, of this is what is going to happen. And especially during the Great Tribulation period, the Word of God is going to be the most valued thing in the world. It's the only source of truth and light in this world, and people are going to be doing all manners of evil just to get rid of this book. People have died for the Word of God, my friend. They've been crucified.
The Book of Eli. If any of you guys seen the Book of Eli, what did he have to do?
On a cross, they've been oiled, they've been alive for the Word of God, my friend. And we have the privilege, especially in the Western world, where we can own multiple copies of them. So if you do not own a Bible, even if you don't read it, you don't believe in it, my friend, just buy one. One day you will be thankful that you did. Go get your hands on a copy, a physical copy of the Bible.
And you can download them and put them on USBs too. But physical copy is nice. Like, you can download the ISR version, KJV, any of them for free. For context, these videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research on everything. They are just theories, not facts.
United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no. It really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. It's constructed of non-governmental organizations, corporations, and government in order to dictate and regulate what it is that happens around the world. Regionalization is the stepping stone to globalization, and globalization is the standardization of all systems. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world and total control from a central unit. The principles are public-private partnerships, which is fascism. And this is how it's implemented on the ground, is through this joining together between corporations, non-governmental organizations, and governments in order to cut out the actual individual, your voter, and instead to take that to a level where we literally cannot penetrate. This is a corporatocracy. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world while we are moving towards the end game. We are not there. And this is the opportunity that all of us have now to stand up, to speak out. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. United Nations, Agenda 21, Sustainable Development.
Are we truly free? How do we not know we're nanobot up and we're under some type of mind control from these skull to voice technology beams we can't see? They implementing 6G soon. No telling what that's gonna do.
Bruce Kowalski, your monthly universal basic income has been deposited into your account. For more information, press details. You have been paid 2,000 central bank digital tokens. The following fees are being deducted. Accommodation fee.
Damn, this is like a social security check. The future.
Food ration fee. Recycling fee. Clean
Food ration, food stamps. The future of food stamps.
energy fee. Personal greenhouse gas emissions fee. Climate change fee. Diversity fee. Your current remaining balance is 5 central bank digital tokens, and if not spent, it will expire in 7 days.
And you wonder why they trying to get rid of the penny in cash. The penny's already gone. I went to the store the other day and they said penny, as you know, the penny's already gone. So it's not like people are just making that up. I seen it myself when I went to a store yesterday. There was a sign on the door that said the penny is no longer in use. We just round it up or round it down. I forgot what he said, but I'm like, dang.
Digital ID is here and Apple is behind it. This week, Apple announced the first version of Digital ID in the US. They are selling this as a substitution to the real ID, but we know where we are headed. Once your information is connected to the central database, you're vulnerable to their tech. If you're dependent on their digital ID for travel, they can essentially decline your ability to fly. What if they decide your appearance does not match what they have on file? Denied. They can shut down your life and they can turn your access off at any moment. When your personal information and your identity is in the database, who owns it and how can you ensure you're able to opt out when you choose? This Apple Digital ID is yet another example of how people are trading their freedom for convenience. We must say no to this, or we may get locked out of society and all the systems we interact with forever.
I believe you have to have a, it's already where you have to have like an enhanced ID to fly. I already did it. Like you have to pay like a couple extra bucks. The lady looked out for me low key at the Secretary of State. She said, you want to upgrade your ID now so you don't have to do it later? And I was like, yes, please. And so good looking, whoever you were that did that. She helped me out. But if you didn't have it upgraded, you wouldn't be able to fly anywhere. And I didn't know that until somebody told me. And I was like, wow. So you can't fly anywhere because your ID hasn't been upgraded? Yes. It's just a matter of time before it goes digital, to be honest with you. I used to work in the medical field. They were switching over from regular files to digital records. So it was this big thing going on at the time that people had to switch from all the old files, because you remember when you used to go to the doctor's office, they'll pull out your file and come there with you, and they'll have a thick file on you. Now they had to get rid of all that. So I believe the Obama administration said that we got to get rid of all paper files because we're going digital. So all the medical facilities had to do that. Do you remember that? Drop it in the comments below. I'm starting to notice that this maybe was a bigger plan going on here.
You have a small elite that pushes things in its own interests, even if it doesn't benefit the vast majority of the population. This has happened so many times previously in history, and it's probably going to happen again. One of the biggest dangers to the planet today is this technological utopia, because probably for the elite it will work. If bad comes to worse, then when the flood comes, the scientists will build a Noah's Ark for the elite, leaving the rest to drown, the rest of the people and then the rest of the ecosystem. But they are likely to be able to construct this technological Noah's Ark, which is probably what much of the elite is counting on. You have a small elite that...
The scary part about this, I could see them doing something like that, you know, almost like underground bunkers, you know what I'm saying, but like a bunker safe from AI, if you will. The scary part is I can see them doing something like that.
So I took a 15-inch woofer speaker and put it on the living room floor, played with the frequencies, the vibrations, till I reached the right frequency to levitate a ping pong ball right in the center. And I thought I was going to get a gigantic raise and maybe a promotion or, you know, whatever. So I showed him what I'd done and everything, and he looked at it and he said, "Well, wow, man, I never thought you'd get that far with it." He says, "This is a government-funded research and development laboratory, and we're paid to look for answers, not find them." And that blew my world apart. It honest to God, I felt like, what am I doing here? I went back to work and lasted about another week because I was thinking if I went home without a paycheck, my wife was going to get upset, and I had no idea what I was going to do. Talking to some friends of mine, and this one guy said, I was sounding like a kook because I was telling what I was doing, and he says, "Well, you know, there's some other people like you that have done the same things, and they'd like, you know, come over to one of the meetings. There's a guy out in Oklahoma City that's been doing this, trying to do the same thing, and his name is Otis Carr, and he wants to build spaceships." They didn't want to hear it. They said, "Pull the levitation device out, and we'll give you a patent on an amusement device, and you can put it in a park and let kids ride on it or something." So it kind of really upset Carr, but he said, "Okay, I'll pull it out," and he did, and he got a patent on an amusement device. But he said, "I'm going to write a book called Dimensions of Mystery." I brought you a copy of it on a disc. And he said, when people raise their consciousness high enough, they'll be able to see in these prose and poems and things about hummingbirds and rocks and trees how important it is to deal with the laws of nature. And when they understand that, they'll be able to, the levitation will be known to everyone, and they won't be able to stop it ever again. I thought that was pretty cool. Well, anyway, they brought Carr out. I got acquainted with him. It was like I was a multi-dimensional being with a multi-dimensional being. We just, there was nothing that we couldn't see or do. It was just really, really beautiful experience. He said that, remember, there's only the one. Don't think of anything but the one, always the one. Everything is simple. Everything is true. Everything is known in the oneness. And when you need to explain this, you can explain it to people as frames of reference. That everything is true in frames of reference, because life is perception from the inside out, not the other way around, not outside in. And so that everything that happens is true to those that experience it. If they image it, it is true. It's all automatically true. So anyway, he said, don't get discouraged. We're going to, you and I, and he had about 8 or 10 people with him. We're going to build a spaceship. So they found a laboratory and proceeded to build spaceships. And we had some prototypes going that were just really coming along nicely. And we felt we were having problems wondering how we were ever going to introduce these to people. So I took a 15-inch Whipper speaker and put it on the...
Damn, I'm trying to figure out when Area 51 stepped in, because there's no way. Could it be possible he was working on the TR3Bs? I don't know. But we do have our own spaceship, and it's called the TR3B. I remember growing up, the stealth bomber, you know, that Blackbird was the big deal, you know. And it still is, if you ask me. I still think it's pretty cool. But that TR3B, just show us one. Put one on in a air show or something, you know. Just show us. Yeah, I wanted to show you guys real quick the B-2 stealth bomber. You know, my dad, rest in peace, he used to tell me stories about how he was in like this construction company. I believe it was like the Foreman Union or something like that, and they were actually working on a hangar for it, and they really couldn't talk about it. You know, I thought that was so cool. I always try to ask as much about that B-2 bomber hangar, you know, he was building. Like, did you see one? He was like, no, we just was building one for it. It was a B-2 stealth bomber hangar, and it was in California somewhere. I remember him telling me stories, you know. I was like, yeah, I want to work there. He was like, yeah, you can make like 30 an hour. It's good money. Like 10 years ago, that's a lot of money, you know. And I was trying to work there. He was like, yeah, man, you got to be strong, you know. People will get mad at you if you don't hit the hammer on the nail with one hit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a line behind you. So you got to bam, bam, bam. You got to hit that hammer with one strike, you know. So I was, you know, I was a little bit nervous. I never went through with it, but I was ready. And he also said you didn't want to never get in a fight with those construction workers because they all got power tools on them. He's seen some crazy stuff that I really can't say, but you get the idea. But in all honesty, all these planes are amazing. I believe that's the B-12 that has like a powerful, you know, machine gun on it. That one right there, I don't know what that is. I think that's the F-35 or F-22. Another, that has to be the F-35. Not too sure what that is. B-12. Yeah, all those planes are no joke, to be honest with you. That's an extremely tough formation. Alright guys, while we're talking about these jets, let's see if we can get some more B-2 stealth bomber action. I mean, you got to keep in mind, these things been out for how long? Almost 20, 30 years. And this is like one of the most technically advanced aircrafts we've been showing besides the F-35s and the F-22s. You got to think to yourself, they have to have a TR-3B out here. And they need to start showcasing it like this. You know, that's what I would like to see the president do. I would like to see the next president or the current president be like, okay, these are the TR3Bs, and give us a close up of them like this, you know? I want to see it fighting through the clouds, the close ups, you know? Give us a couple demonstrations, you know? Show us the TR3B is all I'm asking. Because we all know you got this. We all know you got the spaceships. These have been around for what? How long? 30 years? 30 plus years? Come on. Show us already. Uncloak them and show us. Imagine what the pilot feels like inside one of those. And if this is your first time on the channel, let me go ahead and show you what a TR3B is. Just so we're all on the same page. I'm loading the clip right now for us. This is the TR3, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. How cool is that? They got one on a ship carrier though. That is interesting. You see it? Wow. Just show us already. People are saying the Aurora project. What is that? Activate submersible. People are saying the Aurora project. What is that? Have you guys heard about that?
Aurora actually comes from a leaked 1985 budget report. Whilst the details were blacked out, the name Aurora remained.
The official line from the US government ever since, that there was never an Aurora.
Aurora actually comes from a...
That was tough. That's what I'm talking about. Show me something boosting. But this thing boosting right here, this is already out. I've seen this with my own eyes, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know. This one right here, I seen that with my own eyes. That's already out. I got pictures of it. Of this thing right here, I've got pictures of it. I've seen it. What is it called? It's not the Aurora. I almost want to say Black Hawk. Not the helicopter. Oh, they got the Nighthawk. That Nighthawk is nasty too. Look at this Nighthawk, y'all. This thing is nasty. Yeah, look at this Nighthawk. This thing is nasty. The U.S. Air Force, the F-117A Nighthawk stealth fighter aircraft flies over Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. This was in 2002? We 100% got the TR3B, guys. Because if this was in 2002, it was the Black Hawk, guys. I've seen this in the museum. I've seen inside its cockpit, all that.
For 7 years, the F-117 was the most secret weapon on Earth, but its pilot's biggest fear wasn't Russian missiles, it was the risk of being seen by a Nevada tourist. From 1981 to 1988, the plane was flying secret missions out of a secret base. The biggest threat was a simple car accident on the unrestricted highway below its flight path, the setback. If a single civilian had pulled over and taken a photograph, the US would have instantly lost its 7-year lead in stealth technology, a failure that could have cost billions and tipped the Cold War balance. To counter this impossible risk, the military created an insane contingency plan designed to vaporize the evidence. If the F-117 was forced to land in daylight, it had a 3-part emergency protocol. Protocol 1. Ground crews would surround the plane with semi-trucks to instantly shield it from cameras. Protocol 2. The crew would destroy the most sensitive internal electronics to prevent enemy recovery. The final, shocking step. If the location couldn't be secured in time, the crew had orders to ignite and bury the plane in the desert sand, sacrificing $100 million just to keep the shape of the wing a secret. For 7 years, the F-117 was the most secret weapon on Earth, but its pilots...
And this was in the 80s? Oh my goodness. They are definitely being quiet about the technology they have now, 100%. If you have even any idea what we have now, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to see it. I'll try to add your comment to the next video to pick up to what DARPA might be working on now. I need to know.
The F-117 is iconic. As the first operational stealth, the F-117 is iconic. As the first operational stealth aircraft, the F-117 was a ghost and a symbol of fear during its career. With a radar signature of .003 square meters, it had unmatched stealth for the time. In Desert Storm, it suffered 0 losses and no battle damage. And over the F-117A's career, only 1 of 59 were ever lost in combat. To quote Lockheed, it changed the question from how many aircraft are needed to take out a target to how many targets can be taken out with a single aircraft. It was basically the Batman of aircraft. Now, it may not have been the fastest or most maneuverable, but the F-117 walked so stealth fighters like the F-22 and F-35 could soar. That's why the F-117 is iconic. As the first operational...
So the F-35, they might try and say the F-35 is the most advanced one we had. And yes, they're impressive. I love them. But, you know, I know they're definitely hiding something. What do you say, the F-35? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the F-35. If you've never been to an air show, I highly recommend it. If I could hit air shows every single day for the rest of my life with some earmuffs, I would. Just the announcer before the F-35 even pulls up. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the most advanced technologically, you know, and he be going crazy. And they got the music come in, and then here you see this F-35 roaring. You know, this thing is loud. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally a couple 100 feet above your head, and all you hear is this jet roaring, and the pilot slows down so you can hear every thrust. You know, I love it. They're trying to say this is the absolutely best we have. You know, the F-35's been out for a minute. You know, let's punch it in. Let's see what Google will tell us. If we have to punch it in, let's see what it says. What is the best fighter jet in the world? Lockheed Martin F-22. Let's say the Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is widely considered the best air superiority fighter in the world. Okay. When did the See, there's those nanobots reading my mind. When have I ever typed that? When did the 22 Raptor come out? That was in 1997? We were all playing, keep this in mind, we were all playing PlayStation, that gray box with a memory card with the cord connected to the console when this came out. Now we have, you know, all this crazy technology. AI is running amok. You don't think AI can navigate something better than this? They definitely hiding something, guys. When did the F-35 come out? You know, the F-35 is decent. You know, and this came out 10 years ago, 11 years ago. The F-22 might be a little bit better. I mean, when did the TR3B come out? Yo, wow. It made its appearance in 1962. When will they release the... Damn, they said everything but TR3B. When will they release alien reproduction vehicle? There's no official ARV. Wow, they have a name for it, an ARV. So the TR3B is technically classified under an ARV, which means alien reproduction vehicle. You got USOs, underwater submerged vehicles or objects. Then you got ARVs. Interesting. Alright guys, if you thought you weren't going to get another specimen of the day today, think again. Hayusen, straight from China's mineral market. We have a, not really sure, it doesn't say what this is, but it definitely is giving off some lavender, dark purple galaxy vibes. The rating I'm going to give this, I'm gonna give this a 8.3. I'm gonna give this a 8.3, and I'm going to call this Avatar Cabbage. A 8.3, and the name I have for this specimen is an Avatar Cabbage. And it makes you think about what the guy said earlier. And that's not the first time I heard that all geology is petrified biology. Then what exactly are these specimens we're looking at? How do they actually get formed? What were they once? Do they all grow in caves? Or was this really something that they're not telling us? That's all we have for today's video. If you made it this far, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button and drop the code word in the comments. The code word for today is air show. Go ahead and drop air show in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you were real when you made it all the way through the video. You really rock with your mans. And I just want to say thank you for everything. I love you guys. I just want to let you guys know I'll be dropping another episode a little bit longer over at Jet Ski Chuck. Don't miss out on any of that action. This was the most mysterious TikToks on the internet today. See you later.